Okay, we will be starting shortly. Feel free to start entering your questions now.
Hi, everyone. We're back for round 3 of Ask Me Anything, where we do a live Q&A. This is streaming on our YouTube channel as well as inside of my photographers group. If you're watching this on YouTube, we do have a photographers group with over 31,000 photographers in it. You can search Tiopan. The group is called Brandt Photographers Group, but the actual link name in groups is Tiopan, TAOPAN, because it stands for the Art of Pregnancy and Newborn. So just search Facebook groups, Tiopan, or search Anna Brandt Photographers Group. If you're in the photographers group and you're looking for my YouTube channel, just go to annabrandtvideos.com. This year, I see that we have like about 54 million views on YouTube, so that's kind of fun. So we wanted to commit in 2021 to try to do Q&A at least twice a month. I want to say every other week, but you never know how the week goes. So if I can at least go 1 to 2 times a month and just answer some of the questions that come in. Every single day, I receive questions from around the world on all of my different social media channels. Instagram, you can find me there under my name, Anna Brandt, and I receive DMs, even though I say I don't like DMs or respond to DMs because I don't have time. I still get them. And I have several Facebook pages, and I'm all over the place, basically because I've been around 20 years. So when you're around 20 years, you're in a lot of places. People ask me all the time, who handles my social media? Like as if I have a social media person in a basement somewhere. I wish I did, but I don't. I'm the only one that handles my social media. So some days I'm very active on one, some days I'm very active on another, but I handle all of my own Facebook pages, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, Pinterest, my own website. I rebuilt my own website, still updating the galleries. So I handle all of that. Over the years, I've actually hired different people. I've hired twice someone to handle the Belly Baby Wear, which is my clothing line, that channel. And I have had PR agents. I've had publicity working for me twice over the 20 years. So 2 different times I had PR. 2 different times I had someone handling just my Belly Baby Wear Instagram. I've hired out for my website twice. It's all back on me. And I don't know why it doesn't really work out. Maybe I'm a control freak. I don't know. I don't think I am. Maybe I am. I think we all are. But I can handle things pretty efficiently. Those of you who know me, I was a web designer before I was a photographer. So I was very much in the web world and the tech world. And so I have a lot of experience in the tech side. So it kind of comes in handy when I'm doing my own things. I'll usually figure it out if just because I know the terminology and what to look for. And so I don't do any paid Facebook advertising. I don't do any paid advertising anywhere. I haven't in quite a long time. Every blue moon, I may do a little tiny ad, but not much. So I believe in having people do things that you don't have time for. So I have a lot of staff doing other things. We have seamstresses. If you follow me on Instagram, I went live today showing you our shop. We moved our staff a block away so we can run back and forth. So our shop, where we handle all of our clothing, is just a block away, Belly Baby Wear. You can go to bellybabywear.com, and we currently ship maternity, newborn fabrics, props, accessories, books all over the world, over 80 countries, I believe. I also recently published another book, Newborn Photography, and you can find that at our site, bellybabywear.com, or at thecreativenewborn.com, where we have it in audio PDF, and the physical form is on its way. I also have a maternity book in physical form and PDF. And I'm working another one called Wrapped, which is all about baby wrapping. So hopefully hopefully have that finished very, very, very soon. I love to create. I love to create, teach, educate. Most importantly, I love my day job. I have newborns in here almost every morning. Fortunately, I have not been sick with COVID. I'm always masked when I have my sessions or when we're around our employees. We are masked and we just try to stay safe and healthy. So I'm going to answer a couple of the questions that I received a couple questions that came in through our form. And then also, if you have any question now, please post it. I don't know how long we'll be live today, maybe half an hour, maybe longer. So if you have any question, just post it and Alex will let me know and I'll see it. So Alex, should we start? Where should we start?
So we do have our first question on YouTube.
Okay.
The question is, will photographers be able to do hands-on with babies during clinics/retreats?
So retreats have never been hands-on. Retreats are different than clinics. Retreats are meant to handle the overall process of business, posing, shooting, lighting, marketing. Retreats are very intense. And we've never done hands-on in the retreats. The clinics, prior to COVID, they were hands-on. We would be passing babies all over the place. I have done a couple of clinics this year that have been very successful and have not been hands-on really per se. It really depends on the comfort level of the model. Excuse me, Alex, I'm gonna need water. Sorry, I forgot my water. And when I talk, I like stop breathing, and then I get a tickle, and here we are. So, yeah, or that, Alex. I feel like I need a straw though. Like just if my cup may be there. I may have something in my cup. So it's challenging because we're still kind of in COVID season. I don't know when we're going to get out of it. So if everyone could show up with their like immunity card and vaccination card, that would be one thing. But basically I did a clinic in Orlando. We were all masked. And I did the handling. So I would say, I don't know. I mean, with mentoring, so I do private mentoring as well. So I recently had a photographer in from Hawaii and she quarantined for 2 weeks upon arrival and she's back in Hawaii quarantining right now. So if you're watching, hello. So with mentoring, private mentoring, there is hand holding because it's just the photographer and I. They're usually quarantining and we can work with the baby still masked. But with a clinic, it may be a while before we can just pass babies around. But I still feel like you can learn a lot without holding the baby. I feel like if you need a lot of experience with holding baby or really getting that comfort level, then you should do an in-person mentoring with just you and I, 1-to-1 or 2-to-1. That means 2 photographers to me. Because then it's more private, thank you, and you can get more experience. Okay. I answered that question, Alex. I'll try not to digress too much today.
Let's see. From Facebook, can or have you ever came to Pittsburgh and done classes or work?
Have I come to Pittsburgh? I have not. I don't believe I have. Have I? Maybe I have. I don't know, but I'm trying to release a few more locations in my photographers group. I asked people the other day, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, what locations. Pittsburgh was one of them, as well as Ohio and a couple of other locations. And I'm trying to work with the people that have submitted applications. Basically, I need a host in that area. And with the host, I prefer natural light and studio light, so I can do both. But sometimes if I can only do studio light, that's fine. So I am trying to release some new locations this weekend. I was hoping to have it done today, but I didn't get to. So my goal is this weekend is to release a few more locations, and hopefully Pittsburgh will be one of them. I need to see if anyone submitted a host application. So some of the areas people are asking for is Ohio, Pittsburgh. Where are the other locations? I don't remember where they are. I want to say Connecticut was one of them. Of course, out of country. I received a request for Somalia the other day. Any out of the country. I have to wait till the borders are open. So I can't commit to anything out of the country yet. So I will add some more locations this weekend. It's super important that you sign up for my email list because I do send out emails. I'm pretty good about sending out my emails. I have a very large list. You can go to AnnaBrandtOnline.com. You can go to BellyBabyBird.com. You can do the CreativeNewborn.com. All of those have links to my newsletter list. And I tell people sign up for my newsletter list because we miss things on Facebook. Like to me, I'm in this room every morning till like noon. I have newborns, every day that I'm here, and I'm just in newborn land. So I'm not on social media. And then there are some days where I'm so busy, I get on Facebook just to post, and that's it. And I miss like 99% that are out there. So I tell people sign up for the newsletter so you don't miss social media posting. If you have a request for a workshop, just email me directly, Anna@AnnaBrandт.com. And I try to get to as many places as I can. I just have to kind of spread out things right now, just with travel and the protection and safety of myself and my clients. My clients don't want me traveling all over the place. So I just have to be careful where I go and when and just make sure I'm protected. So put in a request and hopefully I can get it in the spring summer schedule.
Okay, from YouTube again. Is an 85 millimeter 2.8 okay for baby clinics?
I mean, I don't think so. I think here's the challenge with an 85 millimeter. 85 millimeter, I used to have that lens. Was great for when I was doing headshots. I used to do a lot of. Hmm? Oh, I still have it here? Oh, I don't even know. Alex says it's still here. So I used to do child model headshots and a lot of corporate headshots for years. We still do them. And I loved the 85 for that. The challenge with my workshops and my clinics with fixed lenses is, so I like in my clinics, I like to do in, on, over. Okay? In, meaning in a bowl, in a beanbag, on a beanbag, on a bed, over a bucket, over a beanbag. So in every clinic, in my mind, I'm going to have at least 2 babies, and I'm going to make sure, okay, do we do in, on, over, in, on, over? What are we doing? So that I can show proper posing. And the challenge is, in every session for clients and workshops, I always start with the baby on their back. Why do I do that? Baby has just eaten. I ask my clients to feed baby upon arrival. Super important. That I want them to come starving. So if a client shows up or a model and that baby is screaming bloody murder, mom's like, well, they usually arrive sleeping. And I'll say to mom, so like an 8:30 session, when did you last feed baby? And she'll be like 5 a.m. And I'm like, perfect. And then the minute the pacifier comes out or they undress them, they wake up, they're like screaming bloody murder. That's like music to my ears because that means the baby is really hungry. So that's what I want. I want mom to undress baby down to the diaper and then do a full feeding. I usually leave her alone, give her some privacy. Or if I'm at a clinic, I prep the students in the other room. Then I'll wrap baby first and put the baby on the back. The reason I do that is I want the baby to be comfortable. That first set is not an award-winning set. It's not I'm the greatest photographer ever set. It's not let me try all those poses I've never tried set. It's not even let me use that new baby outfit set. It's let me get the comfort of the baby. Let me get them asleep. Let me get parents to relax and sit down. Let me set the tone of the room. And so baby is usually wrapped and on their back. And I'll keep them vertical for a little bit after they've eaten. When you're shooting down, you cannot shoot down with a baby on the floor or in a bed or a bowl with an 85 without getting on a ladder. And then getting on a ladder is very dangerous with newborns. I do get on a ladder and I am usually leaning or hanging all over Alex for spotting, or if I'm leaning over the baby, I'm usually holding my assistant's hand. You have a very big camera in your hand and you just want to be careful. You could slip, you could fall. You don't want anything to ever happen to that baby. So I am concerned about the safety of the baby, and I also want photographers to be successful. So the gear that you choose should be gear that you can be successful with. And I say this with everything, right down to posers that I use in shooting. I don't want to use a bunch of socks and a bunch of towels. I can't be successful that way. So I like to set myself up for success. My lights hang from the ceiling so I don't trip over them. That's setting myself up for success. I use a 24 to 70 range because then I don't usually have to step on something. So if it's your only lens that you have, bring it. But if you have a chance, you could rent something else as well.
Okay, really quick one. I'd like to know how many staff members you have.
How many staff members? That's always like the biggest question. How many staff members do I have? Not enough. I have no idea. I could count them. I'll run through them really quickly because there's really not that many. So in the studio, Alex is my videographer. Alex only comes in when he's needed. Other than that, he works at home. So if he's needed for a shoot, for live, or we just miss him, that's when he comes in. Otherwise, he works at home. Justin works out of his home. I haven't seen Justin in a while. Did he? I missed him. Aw, I miss you, Justin. Justin now helps Alex on videos, so kind of works for Alex. I see him every blue moon. So that's 2. Estella is my assistant, my lifeline. She helps me in my sessions, but she only comes in for newborn sessions when I need her. So usually every morning if I have a newborn, Estella comes in. She cleans the studio to perfection. My clients watch her clean everything up, and then she goes home for the day. So sometimes Estella leaves at 11. Sometimes she leaves at 12. Sometimes she runs over to the shop and helps them. Sometimes it's 4 in the afternoon. Sometimes it's a workshop and it's 8 o'clock at night. But if I'm not shooting newborns or I don't need Estella, she also doesn't come in. So that's 3. Then Gina is really customer. Gina's also a photographer, so that's 4. Gina really handles a lot of our lives, and she's more with my clients. She handles the booking of the clients, the telephone, the mailing of the clients' orders, and assists me in sessions. And she only comes in 4 days a week. And then at the shop, we have seamstresses and crafters. So there's 4 of them over there. And then Gabby manages my clothing line. So that's 5. I don't even know how many. 9? I have Kelly, my designer, who works remotely at her home in Arizona. Am I up to 10 now? Is that 10?
Someone will add it up.
I stopped counting. I don't even know. Who else do I have? I feel like I'm missing somebody. That's it.
Yeah, that's probably good. Okay, next question. Do you shoot with natural light?
Yes and no. So in my studio, I don't have natural light. I wish I did. That's my next studio, my dream studio. I would love a natural light room because I love natural light. On location, yes, always natural light on location. I do not bring flash with me. I do not bring speed lights with me. So on location, yes, I shoot natural light. In studio, I shoot studio light. But when I travel, I usually do half and half. So whenever I travel to other countries or other states, I many times am teaching and shooting natural light and studio light simultaneously.
Okay, this one, I'm not sure how much you'll be able to reveal on this one, but on Facebook, they're asking, how much do you average a month for your photography business after taxes? Also, how much do you make for all your education services per month?
Yeah, I'm not going to answer that.
Yeah, I
It's a
kind of
good
figured.
question, but I don't ever publish numbers, ever. You'll never see me go, oh, look at this check. My client spent this much money, or look at all this cash my client gave me. I just think that some things should be kept offline, and my financials is one of them. But thank you for asking.
Next question. I know you update your site every year, but do you always update pricing and packages? And if you up your prices, how do you wait? Sorry. How do your returning clients feel about it?
Okay, so yes and yes, and they understand. So actually, right before the new year, I let my clients know, or maybe it was right after the new year, I let my clients know that the site was coming down for a few days and I was going to rebuild the entire site. And then we did like a gift certificate special, which I think was 20%. And a bunch of people bought it because they were like, oh, I think you're going to have a price increase. So I'm going to buy everything now so I don't have to worry about the price increase. So I had people join my baby plan. I had people buy pregnancy newborn sessions. I have people that have bought gift certificates that aren't even pregnant yet that are saving them for when they are. I have people that bought gift certificates for other people. I love to do the 20% off. I do it a couple times a year and my clients really love it because they can buy it and save it and use it when they're ready. So my clients are very supportive. I mean, I do a lot of specials. So, I mean, I do raise my prices. My prices were all raised just recently, about a week ago. I don't raise a lot. It's very little. It's very little. And it's just to kind of keep up with the growing business, the cost of my suppliers, just everything, the cost of running a studio. I've never been one to really inflate my pricing. Some people think I'm too expensive. Some people think I'm too cheap. So I know my cost of doing business, and I always feel that my prices are fair for the work that I'm doing. Could they be more? Sure. Could they be less? No. Um, I have a very supportive clientele. I'm so grateful for my clients that have come year after year, baby after baby. I have clients tell me they can't afford to come to me all the time, but they'll come to me, in the holidays, or they'll come to me when they have are pregnant or newborn, or they'll wait for a special or a certificate, or they'll ask me like, "Hey, do you have any sales coming up?" And I'm completely fine with that. In fact, I always joke that people that don't know me pay way more than people that do know me because they pay attention to sales and promos, and there's all kinds of things that I do that people can save money with. Um, so yeah, luckily I have a very supportive client base. I'm very grateful for my clients.
Okay. Quick one. Have you tried the Canon R5? I don't believe you have.
No.
Next.
The thing with new equipment is, if you know anything about me, I'm not an equipment junkie. It's like Alex and Evan. So Evan, my son, and Alex, the videographer, they're always looking at equipment, reading, researching. That's like they're always something.
I don't know
My
what you're talking about.
Yeah. Every time I see Alex on the computer, he's like, my son could sing dances around me, sing songs around me. He knows more about technology and equipment than I ever did. He's a researcher all day long. All I hear is reviews, and all I hear is YouTube in my house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If my son is home, it's either a review on equipment, a review on a car, a review on software. It's nonstop. I'm not one of those people. I will use my camera until it dies in my hands. I have no reason to go to the R5. I have no reason to use anything else. I'm very happy with my camera. I'm very happy with my lens. Keep in mind, I'm on my third Toyota Sequoia. I'm I'm a creature of habit. If I'm one of those people, I need to be successful. So there's no reason for me to change something unless it's not working. So I don't know when, if ever. I'll, of course, change my gear, but there's no reason to right now. Plus, I don't even think you can use the lenses, right? You have to have an adapter. That's annoying.
Yeah, I believe the mirrorless ones have
Yeah.
their own lenses.
Yeah, that's just ugh, yuck. No, then I have to buy new lenses or adapters or no. No, 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 no. Even when I went to Pro Photo, I'll never forget when Chris Fain from Pro Photo came in and he's like, I want to show you these lights. And I was like, okay, I was not interested at all. I was like, oh, I have Alien B and Einstein. And I let him set up the lights and then I like left the room and he's like, don't you want to try them? I'm like, no. And he was like, you sure? And I was like, all right, I'll try it. And then I was like, okay, it's good, but I like my lights. And then I was like, well, let me try it with backlighting. And then I really loved it. I didn't have to have a modifier on it. And then I loved the cordless ability. Then I was sold. So it took me a while because I was like, well, everything I'm doing is fine. Wait a minute. I can have my lights hanging from the ceiling. Wait, they're cordless and no modifiers? Sold.
Okay. I'm going to give you two because they're fairly similar. One is when will you come back to Florida? And the other is there a 2021 online Belly Baby Summit in the works yet?
Yes and yes. I have a baby academy in Florida next weekend. So there you go with Florida. Go to workshops.annabrandt.com and you'll find out where I am. And yes, there will be a Belly Baby Summit online very soon. It is in the works. Oh, okay.
What size lens do you use for maternity and baby photography the most or always? If you actually look at the bottom of this video feed, you'll see it scrolling across the screen. That's pretty much all she uses.
What was the question?
What size lens do you use for maternity and baby photography?
Yeah, the same, the 24 to 70 USM2. There's a video on YouTube. It's like Anna Brandt's lighting or something where I go over her lighting and gear and equipment.
There's a question that says, do you think you can do dress tosses on a 7-foot seamless paper?
Can you do dress tosses on a 7-foot seamless paper? You can, but you're going to have to fill your background in. Well, that actually goes to that other question, Alex. That was similar to the question that came in.
Yeah, I think so.
That asked me anything. Did you want to pop that on? Is that the question?
Can't read it.
I'm like, I can't read it from all the way there. I don't know why my nose itches every time I'm live. I wonder what that is.
Yeah, so that one is, what do you think is the minimum comfortable amount of space you need to be able to shoot maternity with dress throws and such?
Yeah, so here's the thing. If you've ever seen videos of my studio, which there are on YouTube, I use 12-foot paper and 9-foot paper. So for years, okay, so of my 20-year career, I've only been in this building, I think 9 years. I don't even know. So half my career, well, half of my career was out of my home, on location, everywhere. Then about 5 years in a studio where I could only put 9-foot paper. So I would just fill in the background. And now I'm in a space where I have 12-foot paper. Although my 12-foot paper ran out and the lab doesn't have any right now. And yesterday I had a maternity and we did a dress toss on 9-foot paper and I don't have to fill in because the way that I tossed. I just tossed it in a way that I don't have to fill in. But I love 12-foot paper. It's nice and wide. But you can do it on 9-foot paper. I've done it on 5-foot paper. Then you just have to fill in the background. If you have the space, get 12-foot paper. But not everybody has 12-foot paper, and it's hard to buy online, and it's expensive. So then you're at 9-foot. Most muslin backdrops are 10 feet. So you always have to fill in somewhere. I also shoot very wide. Wasn't one of the other questions? Oh, that was the next question? Okay, so let's look at the next question.
Yeah, the second question was actually very similar. How do you fit your full body fabric throw images on Instagram looking like nothing is cut out?
Yeah. So this is a question I get all the time. I shoot very wide. 99% of my work is horizontal. I don't understand the need to be vertical. I don't get it. Every time I'm teaching a workshop, if I have 5 students, all 5 of them are shooting vertical. All 5 of them. In fact, most of my workshops, when I'm critiquing the images, I will tell the student, you're shooting too close to the edge. You're shooting too close to the top. Photographers, we love everything close, right? We just want everything to fill our frame. Well, I've learned the hard way. I'll never forget when I had twins. Well, I was able to fix this one, but I remember this particular client. It's probably 5 years ago. And I had shot the twins facing each other, so they're nose to nose. Now, I always do a huge wide shot before I come close, always. And thank God I did. So I shot a big wide shot of their full heads facing each other. And then I shot a close-up shot of like ear to nose, nose to ear. Well, the mom loved that shot. Who doesn't? It's close up. You see the profile, you see the eyes, you see everything you want to see. And she chose that for a big canvas. Well, if I took that image and put it on a big canvas, there's no way I'm going to get all of that edge to edge. So I was able to take the shot before it, make it a large canvas, and crop it to the way she liked it. And that was such a lifesaver for me. Now, there have been times where I haven't done that, and then I have to fill in the background, or there's things I can't do. So again, setting yourself up for success. It doesn't take me that many times to make the wrong decision before I'll make a right one. So I have learned that space is your friend. And then people say to me all the time, aren't you downgrading your image, or you're not going to have good image quality, or you're going to blow it up and it's going to be grainy? And people give me all kinds of excuses. And then I'll say, look at my wall. Look at that 30 by 40. Does that look bad? Because I shot very wide with that image. And then they'll be like, no. And I was like, I've shot 50 for 50. I'll never forget the Heather Dubrow, one of the OC celebrity housewives, or OC housewife. She's not on the show anymore. So I did a shoot at her home, shot it outside, nice and big and wide. And I was in Hawaii, this is like 5 years ago, with my family. And her agent called and said, Heather Dubrow wants to surprise her husband with a 50 by 50 canvas for his office. I don't know if it was Father's Day. Maybe it was Father's Day. And I was in Hawaii, and I was like, oh, shoot, I have to get this file. send it to the supplier. I won't be able to see it in person. So I have to do it all virtually. I've got to size this file, send it to my canvas supplier. They have to deliver it and install it in Heather Dubrow's husband's office, and I'm not going to be able to see it. And I was freaking out. I don't even think I saw it till like 6 months later when we went to go shoot her house because they were selling their house. And I remember I was like, Alex, there's the canvas. And I hadn't seen it. And it was gorgeous. And it's in their new zillion-dollar home as well now. And it's beautiful. And so, I shoot with very large images. If you're shooting raw or, raw plus JPEG is usually what I'll shoot for celebrity images so I can proof on the JPEG. But if you have a raw image, you should not have any issues. And if you're really worried, shoot wide and then shoot closer up. But I shoot horizontal 99% of the time. So almost everything you see on Instagram or in my YouTube videos started out as a horizontal shot. So it makes it very easy to make it square. That was a long answer.
I actually forgot the question already.
That's a good question.
Good
That's an observant question. That's someone who's paying attention. I love questions where people are paying attention.
Okay. Next question. I'm going to answer this one for you because you kind of already did. Kelly, she is not planning to upgrade her camera anytime soon. She answered that a little bit
Yeah,
ago.
I don't know why. Why would I upgrade my camera?
That's okay.
The only reason to upgrade my camera is if my camera is not behaving the way I want to. And this is what I tell new photographers, people that are on a budget, people that are around a long time. Like, I feel like people just look to spend money. I'm not someone who looks to spend money. My son is. I birthed a son who loves equipment, loves technology. He rents a lens and camera every time he leaves the house, the state, the country. That's him. He loves gear. I'm not, that's not me. There's a couple things that I want. Like I wanted, what is it called? It's a lens that distorts things at angles and...
One of the tilt shift?
Yeah, and it's called something. It's like this radial blur, and it's a particular lens.
I think it's a tilt shift lens.
No, but it's called something. It's its actual brand. I used to want it for the longest time. If you know what it is, you can say it.
I'm not sure. Because I know Canon makes tilt shift lenses
so it's not a
that you
Canon
actually
lens.
tilt and shift.
Yeah. So it's another brand and it tilts and has radial blur and all this stuff. And Lens Baby.
Okay.
That might be it. Lens
Maybe.
Baby.
I don't know.
I wanted that for years. Even at Christmas, I looked it up like I'm going to buy one. And then I was like, but when am I going to use it? When am I going to use it? I don't know when I'm going to use it. So I never bought it. And then I wanted, I think it was a 28 for underwater. Is it a 28 that I wanted for underwater? Something wide.
I don't remember.
I don't know. Carla, my friend from Brazil, was in here for underwater, and she had a nice wide lens for underwater, and I wanted that. But I haven't done underwater, and I don't even know how long, and I don't know when I'll do it. So then I'm like, well, I don't really need that. Then I wanted to rent. What was that long, big lens I wanted to rent for Jasmine's maternity?
I think the 200. Either
200
or 300?
Or 300?
I don't remember. One of the two.
2.8?
Yeah. That was a fix.
I think it was 300 millimeter lens.
Maybe.
Because it's big, and
Yeah.
my daughter's ballet teacher is pregnant, and we were going out to Peters Canyon that had caught on fire a couple years ago, and we haven't shot there. And I was like, ooh, I want a big, fat lens with beautiful bokeh. This thing probably weighs half what I weigh. And I went to rent it, and I wasn't going to get here in time. And my son has people in LA. So he's like, Mom, just jump on the 5 and go see my guy. And I was just like, no. Because I'm going to spend all this money. I'm going to spend $200, $300 on this lens and use it for an hour. So then I didn't get that. But I kind of want it, but I don't really need it. Is there anything else I want? Oh, then I was doing an interview with somebody with 5-day deal with the Griffin guy. And we were doing 5-day deal. And I was on an interview with all these big-time YouTubers. It's that guy that just went to Hong Kong that I said, oh, Evan's a big YouTuber fan.
Oh,
And he was quarantined in Hong Kong, and I helped him get his Skype classes up. or his online classes. What is his name? Anyway,
I don't
when I
remember.
got off the interview, my son was like, "Who are you talking to?" And I named all these names. He's like, "Mom, those are like huge YouTubers. I didn't even know."
Is
Like,
it Casey Neistat guy?
no, not Casey
No.
Neistat. It was Neistat. It was he just went to Hong Kong. He'd kill me if he was watching because I helped him. He was
I
in
have no idea.
quarantine in Hong Kong. He's like, "Anna, I'm going to Hong Kong to see my wife and move here, and I'm stuck in quarantine for 2 weeks. And how do I build my online education?" So we had a Skype calls. But anyway, of course, his name is escaping me. But when I got off the interview, my son's like, "I'm a huge fan of him. Tell him I'm a fan." I'm like, "Okay." Why is his name escaping me? Anyway, I'm on this interview with all these big timer YouTube tech guys. I'm the maternity girl in the call. They don't know who I am. But my host, he had this awesome setup. Alex is like, "Hurry up." He had this awesome setup and the camera and the lights, and he was at his desk. And I was like, "Evan, I want this." Alex and Evan, I want this. I tell them both. And Evan told me what it was. And I said, "I want this little cute camera that sits in front of me when I'm doing my own little lives." But I have Alex, so there's really no reason for that either. So the answer is, will I upgrade my equipment anytime soon? Probably not. Hi, Gina.
Okay. Next
Gina just walked
question.
in.
I'll answer this one as well. The seamless gray that we have is just called gray. It is
Oh,
from Superior Paper. We get it at a local
Profoto.
photography store. And it is just called gray. It's 12 feet wide.
And we have 3 grays on the wall. 2 grays.
Yeah, the
3
other gray,
grays.
I think the bottom 9-foot gray is the same gray. And then the middle gray that we have is Thunder Gray. I don't remember what number it is from Superior. But yeah, those are the 2 that we use. Next question. Let me go back to YouTube real quick. In my studio, as soon as I undress the baby, they wake up. What is the safest way to start?
The safest way to start is to me is put the outfit on the baby and then wrap the baby. Because then you bounce and rock and get baby comfortable, and then they go to sleep. And then when you unwrap, they have the outfit on. Pay attention to the unwrapping because you have a change in temperature. So it's like if you're all bundled up and it's winter and you go outside and then you take off your jacket and you're in a restaurant and you're freezing, right? It's the same thing. You have a change in temperature. So we often forget that, especially if you're wrapping a baby twice and they're on a fur, like I'm sitting in front of these Mimosa House furs, and they're on a fur. That fur adds warmth. The wraps add warmth. They've got like 3 layers, and then you have a heater on you. They're getting into a nice, comfortable sleep. They're in heaven. And then you unwrap them like an onion, and they're naked with no skin. They're going to freak out. So everything has to be gentle, delicate, transitional. So I put the outfit on. So they have a diaper on. They have a diaper cover. I always have a diaper cover over the diaper, always. So they have a diaper on, a diaper cover. They have an outfit. Then many times they have 2 wraps. And they have a heater. So when I'm unwrapping, I'll unwrap the first wrap first. Give it a little bit of time, maybe shoot them in the second wrap. Then when I unwrap to the outfit, unwrap very carefully, very close. I'm like sitting right next to the heater. When I go to do the nude, I'll unwrap and I'll put a chuck. If you don't have a chuck, there's those blue pads. Not the pee pads, those have chemicals, not for puppies, but just plain old medical grade chucks that don't have any chemicals. And I'll wrap them, I'll put the chuck around them naked, and then I'll put a blanket around them and I'll sit in front of the heater. Now, if they wake up and startle and they freak out, I'll say to mom, maybe if you're nursing, can you nurse with baby naked? And how many times does mom nurse and babies like Jello? They just like pass out, right? So also the reason why we have the mom when they come, we undress baby to the diaper and have mom feed because we don't want them warm and comfortable. We want them hungry and awake. So we'll tell mom, just strip them down to the diaper and feed. If it's really cold, we'll say put a blanket on. But you just got to transition and you just have to work gently and you just have to remember that these are 6, 7, 8-pound babies and their skin is very thin and very sensitive and they feel the change in the temperature and they need to adjust. So you need to take your time and be patient. Also understand that in a 2-hour session, if you think of the actual shooting time, It's probably, what did we say actual shooting time was in a 2-hour session? When you're looking at your footage, Alex, and let's say I'm doing a 2-hour session, you have 45 minutes of
Yeah, I
footage?
think it was about average 45.
Okay, so that means in a 2-hour session, if Alex has 45 minutes of footage, the reason I say that is because Alex isn't just standing there with a camera the whole time. He's only doing footage when I'm doing stuff. And even of that 45 minutes, probably only 30 of it is actual shooting. A lot of it is me unwrapping and wrapping and the details and the prepping and things like that. When you cut it down even more, when he edits a client session, it's 2 to 3 minutes. So if you think about at least 50 to 60% of your time is spent wrapping and soothing the baby because the shooting is like this, right? Then you'll understand that you have way more time than you think.
Okay. I'm newer to having my own studio. How can I get more clients and newborn in general? They always ask, what do I have to offer? And I'm sometimes lost.
She's a new photographer,
New to having a studio.
new to having a studio. But are you a new photographer? And what do you have to offer? When they ask, what do you have to offer? I wonder, are they asking if you have any discounts or specials? So I'll address a couple of things. But I wonder, Alex, if I can take like a minute break. I have to go to the bathroom so bad. This is the downside about live and me drinking water. I'm like trying to see how long I can make it without taking a break. And I'm usually pretty good. I usually go to the bathroom right before my lives, but I don't think I can hold it. We're going to take a quick break and then I'm going to answer that question, okay? 1 sec.
All right, we'll be
I
back.
was trying so hard, Alex. I was like, I'm not
We're
make
gonna
it.
mute the mics for a sec as
All right,
well.
hold on 1 second.
Okay, I'll try to answer some of the questions that I can. Did she change from 86 PLM to 64? I believe a long time ago we did have an 86-inch PLM, but ever since she switched to ProPhoto, she's been using 64. Andrea, the sale already did happen, the one at the warehouse. I'm sorry. I believe the intuition drops that we have are 5x7.
Oh, Alex, you can run your. Hmm?
Okay, let me try to
Make sure.
find the question
How low
again.
are we? Well, you can see yourself right there. I know, so I couldn't even see down there.
I was looking, so.
Yeah, but how far can you
Mike
see?
is live again, by the way.
I know we're live.
It was like this,
Oh, it was there?
like before.
Oh
In
my
my
god.
bra?
Do you guys see what I have to work with?
All right. Dory came?
Dory came and picked up her thing. Oh, there's a question just came in, Alex. Any updates on the Belly Baby workshops for 2021? I've said this five zillion
I asked you
times.
that one.
Huh?
I asked you that one too. I don't know if
No,
maybe...
Belly Baby Workshop is different. You said
Oh.
Belly, you said Summit.
Oh, yeah.
No, Belly Baby Workshop is a large group workshop. I've literally answered this question 50,000 times. It's a large group workshop. The Belly Baby Workshop is 25 people. So we do not have those rescheduled because I don't even know. I don't know when we're going to reschedule. I don't know when we can have large groups because that was New York and Chicago. So no, it's still on hold. Still on hold. And probably be on hold for a while. Okay, so how many more do we have, Alex?
Only like 600.
Stop.
There's a lot.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, another
I
one.
thought, didn't I say half hour?
Yeah, I mean, we're already at 48 minutes.
Okay.
Next one. Do you ever get burnt out on photographing newborns since you have been doing it for so long?
No, I mean, I get tired. Not no, because the minute I walk in and I see the baby, I'm like, oh, yeah, I love babies. So no, yes, no. I think no on newborns because to me, every baby is different than the last. It doesn't matter how much I know about newborns. I'll walk in and I'll be like, so our January babies, every single one of them are wide-eyed. Every one of them, they're like just staring at me. I'm like, well, hello, it's January. They all pretty much go to sleep, and they've actually been pretty good babies. They haven't really been cranky like my angry Leos. They've just been wide-eyed and maybe yell at me every once in a while. I may get fatigued with just my busy life sometimes. It never lasts long, like ever. So yesterday, see, today's Friday. Yesterday's a perfect example. The night before, we lost one of our bunnies. So we have two bunnies, Beyonce and Levi. My daughters named these bunnies. And they were a gift to my daughters during quarantine. And so it was my fault. I didn't shut the door all the way, and Beyonce got out, and my dog attacked Beyonce, and we thought he just broke his leg. So I like scooped him. I heard the noise, and I was like, what? And I saw Beyonce freaking out, and the dog's freaking out. So I scooped up Beyonce and yelled for Ava, my youngest daughter, and we saw that the leg was broken. I was like, oh my gosh, his leg's broken. And my dogs were in so much trouble, but they were being dogs, and they don't know. I have a husky, so he doesn't know. So I'm like freaking out, right? And so Ava's like, okay, Mom, he's still breathing. Let's take him to the vet and, we'll get his leg fixed and he'll be fine. I'm like, okay. So we're driving to the vet, and I have a feeling this vet's closed, even though it says they're open till 10. And there's an animal hospital across town, and I'm trying to decide, you're the fork in the road, which way to go. And I'm like, okay, Ava's like, Mom, just get to this vet, and if that vet's not open, we'll go to the animal hospital. It's open 24 hours. And I'm driving. There's a point to the story. And he starts spasming. And I was like, oh no, this isn't good. And he was like, why is he doing that? And all of a sudden, as I'm driving, I felt him pass. I cannot describe to you the feeling. I've never had it in my life. But I said, oh my gosh, he just passed. He just died. Now, my daughter's holding him, and she's like, no, Mom, no, he didn't. And I was like, he did. And I'm not even looking at him. I'm like, he did. She's like, no, Mike, I know he's passed on. I felt it. And she's like, really? And we pull up to the vet that was closed, even though they said they were open. And sure enough, he had passed. And I was like, didn't you feel him? And she said, well, I felt him get heavier. So we had a moment. I was sobbing in the parking lot, feeling like I could start crying now, feeling like the worst mother in the entire world. It's my girl's bunnies. It's my fault. You try to take back time. What did I do? Why didn't I shut the door? It was the end of a long day. I was exhausted. My daughter was exhausted. We both couldn't wait to go to bed. We were up the night before because the winds felt like they were going to knock my house down. So I didn't get a good night's sleep the night before. I had a baby coming in the next day, yesterday. And so I woke up in the morning yesterday just defeated. I felt like, so I'm going to get emotional. I felt like a big failure. I felt like I had let down my daughters. I just was miserable. And I was laying in bed like, I'm going to cancel everything. I'm just going to cancel everything. And I'm just going to cancel the day. No shoots, no newborn. I'm just going to stay home and be miserable. And I laid there for like 10 minutes. But my daughter had to go to school. So I was like, well, I can't lay here much longer. She's got to go to school. So went to school and I got to the studio before anybody else. And I just sat at my desk and I was like, I don't know. I don't feel like doing anything. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I want to create some Valentine things. Yeah. So then I text my Gina and I say, can you get me a venti coffee? And can you stop at Michael's for me? She's like, okay. So then I go to Michael's website and I'm adding a bunch of things. And I'm like, never mind. I'll meet you there. And she's like, okay. I just ran over to Michael's at 9 o'clock. The baby was coming at 10. And $300 later, my cart was full. And Gina's like, what the heck? You were going to send me to Michael's? I don't even know what was going on in your mind. Alex comes in. The studio's upside down. He's shaking his head. There's flowers everywhere, balloons. It was like, I don't even know how to describe the scene yesterday, Alex.
She decided to start painting
Oh, yeah.
inside of a closed room with spray paint.
I did. I went in the kitchen and shut the door and started painting branches. I did.
So when I arrived, she has that huge industrial fan trying to blow the
That
smell
was
out.
Gina, right? Right? There's flowers everywhere, paint everywhere, things hanging on the street, branches that I had painted. Stella doesn't know what's going on. In walks my client. I'm like, look, I'm just going to keep creating because if I don't, I'm going to start crying. I'm just going to start crying. And yeah, it was just later when I saw Ava, she's like, Mama, how was your day? I was like, oh, honey. And then this morning, we found out that our Santa passed. Santa's been with us 16 years. Santa was the Rosetta Stone Santa. He's been on Coca-Cola, endless celebrities, movies. He is the president and founder of the Real Bearded Santa Guild. I mean, he's Santa. And he passed on the 20th. So, there are so many days where there's grief or something terrible happens. I could fill your day with the most terrible things that have happened this past year. It's been a lot of sadness and a lot of grief and a lot of stress. And so there are days that I get overwhelmed with just my life. I just want to crawl back under my comforter and just stay in bed. And I can't because I have 3 children and they and my dogs get me out of the bed every day. My dog, I can't be in bed longer than until 6:30 because my dog will nudge me. So the long answer to that question is no. I love babies. Every baby just gives me a look and I just kind of go. And I'm just excited that they're even in my space. I said
Okay.
I wasn't going to digress today.
Yeah. Well, we all know how that goes. Next question should be quick as well. Do you mostly use 9-foot paper?
I feel like I mostly use 12-foot paper, don't you think?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah, because when I'm doing newborns, I'm on the Paloma Michelle beanbag. I'm on the Pottery Barn, or I'm on the Intuition Backgrounds drops, and I ask for the biggest size, which is 76 by 60. But when I'm doing family or siblings, I'm on the paper, and I would say 90% of the time I'm on 12-foot. I have 12-foot white, gray, and black.
Okay. How do you get parents to stop hovering and tell them not to take videos/photos? Yes, I have your sign up.
I don't.
Yeah, they kind of still do it anyway.
They do it anyway. I have my sign up too. I mean, I feel like the majority of my clients are pretty good. There's maybe 10 or 15% that don't listen to anything I say. And I don't. I mean, you know what? It's their baby. They're excited. They want to see what's going on. I'd probably be a hovering parent too. With the video, I'll say, Alex is doing video, you're getting video, so could you not video? With the photos, I'll take their camera and I'll take a picture with my phone. And if I really see they're excited, I'll just take a picture of the back of my camera with their phone and their phone, and they love that. But I just kind of get to work and I don't let it bother me too much.
Going back to that person that had the new studio, she did respond saying she has been doing photography for a few years, but just the studio is new.
Oh, yeah, I never finished that question. Oh, I'm so glad she's listening. Okay, so tell me again. She's
So the question was, I'm new to having a photography studio. Uh, how can I get more clients in newborn, maternity in general? They always ask, what do I have to offer?
okay, and you said she's not new.
Yeah, so she's been doing it for a while, but just new to having her own studio
So
space.
if you're listening right now, when people say, what do you have to offer? Are they asking for discounts? Is that what they're asking? So here's the thing. Of course, people are going to ask. I ask, like, oh, you have any specials right now? Or, anything I care to know about? I think that there's nothing wrong with somebody asking if there is a special, because why not? You never know. Have you ever visited an establishment or something and a restaurant, you ask what their specials of the night are, right? My parents used to always do that. Every restaurant we'd go to, what are the specials of the night? The specials didn't used to be a bad word. It was actually in restaurants more like, hey, I'm your maitre d', your waiter. I'm going to tell you the specials of the night. We have sea bass on special for whatever. So I remember we didn't go out to eat very often. We're a family of 7, and we couldn't afford to go out to eat very often. But I do remember the few times we would, my parents would always say, what are the specials? So I don't think that it has to be a bad thing. So you can just say, oh, we don't have any specials right now, but make sure you sign up for the newsletter so that when we do have specials, we'll let you know. Anything to offer as far as, yeah, I have lots of things to offer. I have books, I have canvases, I have frames, I have jewelry, I have so many different things. What exactly are you looking for? And just ask them. It has to be a mutual collaboration. It has to be a partnership. You're on the same team. You're on the same team. The team is that they want beautiful photos for you. You want to capture beautiful photos for them. They may want to save $1 from you. You want their business. So I don't think it has to be a bad thing. As far as marketing in general, people ask me about marketing every day, all day, since I've started. And my answer is always that you are selling you, your art, your creativity, your job. You are in charge of selling you. Unless you're hiring somebody to sell you, whether you have PR or you actually have people that do your marketing, most of us don't. You are in charge of selling you, right? And so when you're starting out, people forget that you have to sell yourself. Whatever you're selling, your art, how do people find you? Where are your clients? So whenever I'm mentoring and I'm teaching people, I will ask whoever I'm mentoring, who is your clientele? We do this in the academy. Tell me 5 characteristics of your client, okay? So my client is probably over 35, okay? There's number 1. My client is either pregnant or have a newborn, or probably have a child under 5. But let's say I'm focusing on maternity newborn. So we'll say my client is either pregnant or has a newborn, okay? My client is most likely making a good amount of money, more financially secure. Although I do have a wide range of people making money or not making money, especially now with COVID. But let's just say that before COVID, my client is probably a professional and they're probably making at least 6 figures a year, most likely my client. My client is somebody who loves photography. Not everybody loves photography. Now, we're talking about photography, but whatever business you have. There's a lot of things that people are selling that I don't love. I'm not one of those people who does fake nails. I did in my 20s, but I don't do them anymore. I don't do fake eyelashes. I think I've worn fake eyelashes like 3 times in my year. There are some people that love fake eyelashes. So if you're selling fake eyelashes, I'm probably not going to be your client. But there are a lot of people that love fake eyelashes. It's the same with photography. Not everybody loves photography. Not everybody wants to spend a certain amount of money on photography. They just may not value it the way you do. So not everybody is your client. My client, probably my 5th characteristic is my client is looking for somebody who has the resources that I have, meaning I have all of the clothing, I have the props. They can just show up with their baby in a diaper and I can completely take care of them. I'm a full service business. It's kind of like if you're going to a salon. I don't need to go to a salon that's a spa. I don't need a massage while I'm getting my hair done and my nails done. I don't need all of that. I want a good blow dry and a trim. So I have this fantastic woman that takes care of my hair. She lets me edit while she's working on me. I don't need anyone else in the room. I'm happy with just her. Other people want a full salon, want them to bring coffee handed to them, want massages. That's fine. So my point is that you need to know who your client is based on what you offer. I offer custom albums, announcements. One of my clients sent me an email today, 2 paragraphs. This is the kind of announcement I want. These are the images I want. There you go. She knows that I'm going to pick the images, take the images that she sent me, edit them, send them to my designer. My designer is going to design an announcement, send a proof, and we're going to take care of everything for her. There are a lot of people that say, I want to do my own announcement. So with marketing is you need to understand who your client is, where your client is, where your client is shopping, and how they're going to find you. And then you need to be in all the areas that they can find you and start partnering with the places that also cater to your same client. Marketing is every breath that you breathe. You need to be getting the work out there and selling yourself. And not everybody is your client. And don't be upset if you don't get every client. I don't get every client.
Okay. Earlier, someone asked if you switched from 86 PLM to 64, and I said that
Yes.
a long time ago you did have an 86, and
Yes.
ever since you got Profoto, you went to 64.
Correct.
And they followed up with, do you think changing from 86 to 64 changed your lighting?
No. You can't even tell the difference. It was just too big. Can't even tell the difference. I could put 2 images next to each other and you wouldn't know. For sure.
Let me see. What else? Sorry, there's a lot of people just talking with themselves. Let me see. Anna, you said you use Session. You use
Gina.
Session to book your special sessions. I think might be a typo there.
Yes.
Um,
Use session is what I use
oh,
to
okay.
post my
Is this
holiday
attached
sessions.
to your website permanently, or is it linked each time for each special that you are going to do? Currently having work done on my website. Thanks so much.
Yeah. So I only use session when I have a particular special and then I link it at that time. If I don't have a particular special, like I don't have one right now, then no, I don't use it and I don't have it permanently linked. That's a very good question. That's another person who's very observant. Alex, you may need to switch with Gina because I think the girls are here. My daughters are
Okay.
here and they need to borrow Alex.
Okay. Real quick, when are you coming to XYZ? Just follow the workshops at annabrandt.com.
Workshops.annabrandt.com.
Workshops.annabrandt.com for her to update her locations and travel schedule. And let me give you one more question before
Gina,
I
are
go.
my daughters here? Gina? Yeah? Ava? Olivia, hi. Tell Gina to take Alex's spot and Alex can check real quick. Do you still hear it right now?
There's no cars out front.
Where are you?
Right there.
Okay. So we have a pause. Hold on one second. Hi, Ava. Ava. Oh, that's right. Ava, you took over last time. Okay. Can you take over for Alex real quick? And then we traded in Olivia's car for a new Jeep. What kind of Jeep is it, Liv?
Wrangler.
A Jeep Wrangler. And Liv says she hears noises in her Jeep. It's never a dull moment in my house. So she's here. She's on her way to work. She has to go to work. So Alex is going to run out and open up the hood in her car and see if there's any creatures in there. And if you saw where I live, it wouldn't surprise you. I live like where Alice in Wonderland lives. So we have all God's creatures. And I wouldn't be surprised if one moved into Olivia's brand new cozy warm Jeep. I don't know if you remember, Liv, in our old house, there were rats got into Evan's car and ate wires. That was at the other house when we were in the Orange Hill. Yeah, remember that? So we were, you never park near a sewer. We found that out the last time we lived in a forest. And we had a forest across the street. And rats would go in and eat my son's wires. Twice it happened. And they were like, do you park near a sewer, near a forest? And we're like, yeah. Now we're actually in the forest. And I'm sure someone moved in there. So Alex is going to go find out. So we'll find out live.
I got my knife.
So Ava's up. Ava, you're up, Mama. Ava's in the house.
Okay. Oh, do you want another question?
I do, Mama.
Okay.
Brink, put the mic next to your mouth. That's good?
Your next question is, what advice would you give to those that are doing photography as part-time because they can't afford to do full-time because of money, but they want to be able to go full-time at some point?
Okay. So you got to hustle. You got to hustle, 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 hustle. You know, if you can't afford to go full time, and so you have your day job and photography is your part-time job, then you just got to hustle and just be good. And cut down your expenses. So my advice would be, trim the fat. What do you not need? Start trimming away your expenses, because there's what we need to afford to live, and then there's what we need to afford to live, right? So if you have a day job, you have a little bit of cushion. And if you ever watch Shark Tank, they're always like, you got to be like starving. Like they'll always ask, do you pay yourself? And every time we watch it, right, Ava, when they go, oh yeah, I pay myself a salary, the shark people just shake their head, right? You should not be paying yourself a salary. You should be like eating crackers and tuna and starving if you're a business owner. So it's kind of like, whenever people go, well, I have a day job and I can't afford to quit my day job. I'm like, can you though? Can you? Now I quit my day job, cold turkey, quit and went full time, because many times we get very comfortable. Now, there's two types of situations. One where people are like, Anna, there's no way I can quit my day job because I can't afford to pay my rent. But here's the thing on that. If you don't have that steady paycheck, you learn to hustle and you will probably make more money than if you had your day job. And I know you're going to argue with me. You're going to go, no, that's not true, Anna. That's not true, Anna. But I've seen it. I've seen it with my own eyes. That I remember, I think it was two or 3 years ago. So my OBGYN has like 40 or 50 canvases in their office. And they refer, on any given day, 3/4 of my client base. Now, I've hustled and worked straight, right? It was a couple of years ago, my OBGYN said they had to take all the canvases down. Every single one of them. They were moving to be closer to Hoag Hospital, which is a very big hospital here and where a lot of celebrities go and where I get a lot of my clients from. And they had to take all the canvases down. And by the way, they didn't know if they were going to be able to put any back up. And it was a new year, so January's typically slow. And my heart sank. I was like, oh my God, there goes all my business. So like if they can't put another picture up, there goes 3/4 of my business. And I remember panicking. It's January. It's going to be slower than normal. And January, I rely on my work from the OB office. I'm going to lose everything. And it was 6 months before they got approval to put one picture up. And then another 3 months before we got approval to put all the canvases back up. So that's almost 9 months. And I didn't miss a beat. I hustled more than I ever hustled before. And there was never a miss in my income or my clientele coming in. So for those of you who say, Anna, there's no way. If I quit my day job, I will not pay my mortgage. But what if you lost your day job? What if? Because you may say you can't afford to quit, but I know people that didn't have a choice and lost their day job and they had to hustle. So whether you're watching Shark Tank or whether you're listening to a business advisor, there's so many people that will tell people that have their day job that you're a little too comfortable. You don't even know how comfortable you are until you don't have that day job anymore. So a couple of things of advice. First of all, if you're convinced that you cannot quit your day job, then trim the fat. Start getting rid of everything you don't need. That means there's no going out to eat. That means you're not online shopping. That means you're buying secondhand. Then I would say sell everything you don't need. Start going around the house and pretend like they're going to take your house away or take your car away, or the people that impound cars, whatever they're called, they're going to take your car next, and start living way below your means, and start pretending like you don't have your day job anymore, and increase the hustle. And there's so many things people do when they're uncomfortable with it. And so start working like you don't have that main income, and step it up. Step it up. Work night and day, or just quit cold turkey. Okay, Eva, is there any other questions? You're going to tell me one? Okay. Any creatures, Alex?
No, I didn't say anything.
You didn't see anything?
If it was there, it's probably gone.
Caleb. So what we may want to do, if Evan's not parking in the garage, you may want to park in the garage at night. All right. Bye, honey. Hold on 1 second. Have a good night at work. 8 o'clock, closing? Okay. Bye, honey. Love you. Okay. Ready, Ava.
Okay, your next question is,
Oh, Liv, Ava, Gina, who are you? I sent you a
A message?
yeah,
Email or text?
text.
Is she muted?
Sorry, Evan was just texting me. Let me tell Evan. 1, 2, 3 children. It's always in rounds.
She's not muted.
I'm not muted. It's on the text. I'm here. Let's go. We don't have that much time. Ava, we have to leave at 3:30. So we got to wrap this up in the next 15 minutes.
how would you approach a situation where you know a new mom hasn't fed the baby enough but insists they have, and they're still unsettled and they don't have a dummy?
A pacifier. Okay, so dummy means a pacifier. They're probably in Australia or something like that. Okay. Well, I've had that happen. I'll never forget, years ago, I had this woman, and I knew the baby was starving. And he was like, oh, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, no, we're not feeding the baby. And I was like, why? And she says, because we're Jewish. And I was like, wait, what does that mean? I have had clients of every religion in my studio. And I was like, wait. She's like, well, we're Jewish and we're following this Jewish schedule. And I was like, I've never heard of this before. That was in this studio. So it was probably like 6 or 7 years ago. And I remember going, oh, I missed this. Wait, what? I didn't understand. And I was like, but this baby is starving. She did not feed him, and he was miserable the rest of the session. So I can't force anything upon anyone if they don't have a pacifier, and I do this and I see the baby is rooting, and I'll be like, oh, baby really wants to eat. And if mom's like, nope, they're on a schedule, we're not feeding them, they just ate, they're hungry, we have no whatever. If they're breastfeeding, I'll be like, okay, listen, it's kind of like a workout. It's not like when newborn sessions are different. When you're home and you're feeding, what do? You wrap the baby, bundle the baby, you put the baby down. The baby will probably go to sleep for 2 hours or 3 hours. Newborn session is completely different. It's like we're doing a triathlon. We're like wrapping the baby, unwrapping the baby, undressing the baby, posing the baby over a bucket, over the beanbag, and then we're going to be like, no, I'm sure you're thirsty, but no. So I tell the moms it's like a workout. You know, you're a little thirstier during a workout, or you're a little hungrier during a workout, or you go for an extra walk and all of a sudden you're eating an extra meal. It's kind of like if you're working out or you're weight training, you actually eat more, right, than when you're not, because you need the protein for the fuel for your body. So I tell moms it's kind of like a workout. The schedule is not even going to exist right now. I know you just fed the baby, and at home you don't even look at the baby for 2 to 3 hours. I get that. I know, I'm a mom of 3, but I can tell you that because in newborn session we're disrupting their sleep. So we're unwrapping them, we're stripping them down, we're posing them, we're bothering the heck out of them. They really just want to go to sleep and be left alone, and we're bothering them. So they may just want to comfort suck. They're in a new environment, new voice, new sound. They're not at home. I suggest that even if it's just for comfort, maybe you just try. And 99% of the times the parents are like, okay, no problem. I'll do whatever. And then there's that 1% that say, no, there's nothing I can do. I just try to do my job to the best of my ability. I'm not here to force anybody to do anything, and I'm not trying to manhandle their baby or hurt their baby in any way. I just want their baby to be comfortable. So you can just try and do the best that you can.
Okay, what if they ask, why would I go to you versus someone else?
Why would they go to me because of somebody else? Alex, you're doing so good too. Okay, so the question is, why would they go to me versus someone else? That's a good question. I don't know. Why do you want to come to me? Because when people are looking for a photographer, they're looking for a particular style. Yes, price is one thing, but to me, style and price have to go hand in hand. If you're if you're shopping for a dress for a dance, right? You may go to the cheaper places first because you're like, I just need a quick dress. This happens with my daughters all the time. And then we'll look at each other and be like, we have to go to Nordstrom, right, Ava? We have to go somewhere because we're going to spend a little bit more, but we're going to get what we want, right? It's the same thing. It's like, I don't know, if it was another place that we'll go try and do the cheap route and then be like, no, we have to go here. TJ Maxx versus Nordstrom Rack. So it depends what we're looking for. We'll be like, oh, let's try TJ Maxx. Nope, we got to go to Nordstrom Rack. Because, oh, we're going to get the quality of Nordstrom Rack, but we'll still get a discount, right? Would that be a good example? Yeah. So it kind of has to go hand in hand. I'm not the cheapest person. I'm not the most expensive person. Every person that's ever come to me, not one time for newborn have they ever said, oh, I came to you because you were the cheapest person around. I've never heard that out of a client's mouth, ever. I ask my clients every single day. You can ask Gina. What do I say? How did they find me? Are they a referral? You know, why are they coming to me? I ask all the time, oh, why did you come to me? How did you find me? Almost every single client that comes in my studio, I want to know. And they'll say, oh, you were a referral. Or last week I had a client and she says, oh, she said she's an anesthesiologist. And this surgeon had told her, oh, I see you're pregnant. You have to go see Anna Brandt. Like if there's anyone you see, it has to be her. So she's like, so I took his recommendation. I came to see you. And she goes, I didn't even have a chance to tell him because COVID happened. I think she was newly pregnant. She's like, COVID happened and here I am. And so he doesn't even know that I came to you. And so, you know, I think that people are attracted to somebody's style. And so if they see my style or something I've done, they'll go, I need to go to her. And I think that's why someone comes to me, is that they're drawn to me for my style. Does it because I think that I'm better than anyone else? No. If you've ever listened to anything I've ever said, I don't think I'm that great. And half the time I don't like my own work. And 99% of the time I don't like anything I've shot. What you're seeing on social is one image that I might like. I'm very hard on myself. Most days I think I suck completely. So I don't think it has anything to do with ego. I think it has to do with when you're around a long time or when you're around a short time, you develop a style. People will come to you for your style. You may be out of budget. Maybe they'll get you on a sale. Maybe they'll get a gift certificate. But no one comes to me because they have to. This is a luxury business. I'm not a necessity. If it's between me and dinner or buying underwear, dinner and underwear should come before me. This is a luxury business, and I know it's a luxury business, and it's a privilege when somebody does come and choose spend their money. And there are people that have told me, I can't afford you. And I say, okay, I wish you luck. I know what I'm doing. I know how to take care of a baby. I know how to deal with some of the fussiest babies in the world, and I'm confident in my work. If someone chooses me, I think it's because they see that. Okay. Any other questions?
So I've tried baby boutiques and OBGYN offices to see about displaying portraits. Either another photographer is already displaying images or the area is not interested. Any ideas on what else I can do to display portraits to get business?
Yeah, that's tough because there's only so many places that will allow displays, and it's like you run in with your portfolio and there's already somebody there. I will tell you that the OB display that I'm in, when they asked me, they had already asked another photographer. And I'll never forget, my heart sunk. I was pregnant with Ava. So Ava's going to be 16 in March 26th. And I was pregnant with Ava. And my OB said, "Oh, do you want to display your work on our walls?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'd love to." And she's like, "Okay, great." Well, the next visit I went into, there was I saw some work in the offices, and my heart sunk. I was like, "Oh my gosh, they asked someone else." And so I didn't say anything because I was just so nervous. And so my OB was like, "Oh, were you still interested in displaying your work?" And I was like, "Yeah, but I see that there's already another photographer here." And she goes, "Oh, no." She says, "There's like 6 or 5 or 6, however many OBs are in that office." She's like, "Oh, no, that's the patient of another OB. But I'm like the head OB here, and each doctor has like 3 or 4 offices." She's like, "You can decorate in my offices as well as the hallway." And I was like, "The hallway?" She goes, "Yeah, it's like a big U, and I own the hallway. So you have the whole hallway." And I was like, "What?" It's like the greatest thing ever. So I'll tell you another quick story. Another quick story is, I know, Alex is like, "You got to be quick." Okay, this is important. Okay, so years and years and years ago, I had a woman who I knew who had a 4D ultrasound studio. This was when Hush Baby was around. Hush Baby's not around anymore. Hush Baby was high-end children's clothing, like $100 toddler jeans, $200 toddler jeans. Okay, so I'm working with the 4D ultrasound, and she goes, "Oh, you need to come and meet the owner of Hush Baby." So I was like, "Sure." So I went over to meet Hush Baby, and they're like, "Oh, well, we already work with another photographer." They had a 300 square foot room where they would have photo sessions in the store, and they would charge their clients like $25. The client would come and have a session in the store, and they would contract local photographers. Jenny Mason, Julia Keller, her sister, also did a bunch of Hush Babies. So, and this was not even in my area. It was like a half an hour south. And I was like, "Oh, no problem. I'm not here to solicit. I'm working with the ultrasound studio. I have a photography studio in Tustin right now. I'm working with the Right Start in Tustin, another high-end baby boutique. And I was working with Baby Style in Newport Beach, Fashion Island, another high-end boutique. All these high-end boutiques are gone." And I said, "Here's my card, though. If you ever need anything, feel free to call me." Guess what happened? Like 6 months later, I get this call out of the blue from the boutique the boutique owner, freaking out. They had a day of bookings, and the photographer was MIA. To this day, I have no idea what happened to this photographer, but I don't even remember her name. I don't even know if she's still in business. But they had booked an entire day. Photographer did a no-show. They couldn't get a hold of her. They asked if I would come, fill in, do all the shoots, of which I did, and then I ended up being their photographer in that store. So it's kind of like when you have a salesman come by and they go, "Hey, I'm selling insurance." And you're like, "No, I have insurance." And he's like, "Take my card because you never know." And you're like, "Okay." And you take the card and you put it, and then your agent disappears and you're like, "Wait, where did that insurance guy, where does that number go?" It happens all the time. So there's no reason why if you confront someone or say, "Hey, listen, I'm interested and you have a display," don't give up. Say, "Hey, by the way, I'm just going to leave my card for you. If you ever need anything, let me know." I got to tell you, none of the photographers that were around when I came to California from New York 20 years ago are even still around. I don't even know what happened to them, where they all are. But I'm in this for the long haul. I've always been. So that would be the first thing I would tell you. Always leave your card because you never know. And then second of all, the display isn't the all end all. What you should do is reach out to your clientele, either on social media or on your email list, because you should have an email list, and say, "Hey, did you know that I offer free displays to like-minded businesses?" Well, I do. I have this on my website, by the way. If you know a like-minded business, what's a like-minded business? A like-minded business is a business that caters to the same clientele you do. So for me, pediatricians, 4D ultrasounds, baby stores, nursery designers. I mean, I could go on and on and on. All those people are like-minded businesses. Reach out to a like-minded business and say to your clients, "Hey, do you have a like-minded businesses? I'd love to swap, collaborate, co-market." We're still, half this world is still in lockdown. Everyone needs to market and help each other. We need to build our tribe of people. So you need to find your tribe, your people that have the same clientele you do, and let's work together. Ultrasound people that are designing nurseries, doctors, midwives, doulas, the nurse, the sleep specialists. You guys all get together, huddle together, and say, "How can we help each other?" Okay. I'm out of time. How many questions? 2? I'll try to
One.
brief.
I
1?
don't know if there's any quick ones though.
Eva, can you map where we're going? How far is it?
I don't know. Oh, am I on?
We are.
Oh, I'll ask you a question and then I'll map.
And then you'll map it. Okay.
Okay.
Wanna capture that one?
Yeah. How do we work?
Did I put the carrier in my car for the bunny?
No, but I brought it.
Oh, you're awesome. Eva Brandt, you're... That's why I love you. Thank you.
Okay.
I totally
I
forgot.
love you too. How do we work on changing our clientele?
Well, what is your clientele? Ava's like, I don't know. Let's say your clientele are like what? Why do you want to change them? Who are they and why do you want to change them? Did that question just come in?
No,
Oh, shoot. Okay, I'll take it from a completely random generic.
like 20 after.
Okay, I'll take it from my clientele are all my mommy friends and no one wants to pay me. That's a whole other live because I don't really market to my mommy friends or my neighborhood or where I live. But let's just say I do get a lot of people go, okay, I started out with all my mommy friends. They sent all their kids to me. I got great shots, did portfolio building, and now those are my only clients and my mommy friends don't want to pay me. Or daddy friends or partner friends or whoever. So let's just say that's your clientele. Market to the clientele that you want. Who is your clientele? Who do you want to be your clientele? Where is that clientele? And market to them. And stop worrying about the clientele. I've lost a lot of clientele over the years. I mean, there's a lot of people that don't come to me anymore, maybe because they can't afford me or they've moved or they're not maternity and newborn and they don't get photos and their kids are teenagers now and things like that. So I've shifted all kinds of clientele. A lot of it is if you raise your prices, if you're too cheap and your clientele is very inexpensive clientele, then you raise your prices, you'll lose that clientele pretty easily. Might take you a little while to build up the new clientele. But you can. It's going to take time. It's like rebranding. It's having a dingy little restaurant in the corner, like a little Shake Shack, and then all of a sudden you want to become a 5-star Americana restaurant. Well, how do you go from that little tiny Shake Shack to that 5-star Americana restaurant? You've got to rebrand. You've got to have a good website, good branding, good social media presence. All of that has to go with the type of business that you want to attract and the type of business that you are. Next question. Ava's mapping where we're going. It's 10 minutes. Okay, so we have a few more minutes. We're okay. We have a few more minutes.
Okay. Sorry. I thought that was the last one, so I wasn't looking.
Oh, okay. Alex will see if we can do a few more questions.
Let me see.
Are these coming from YouTube or Facebook or where?
Mostly Facebook. Some of the ones on YouTube are kind of repeats. So if we didn't ask yours from YouTube, check back because we probably already answered it. But here's one from YouTube. How do I get clients who want to pay more? Kind of the same question as before.
I mean, it's like, it's not just about paying more. It's what are you offering? People want value for their money. It's not just about, oh, I want to get $1,000 or $5,000 or $2,000 or $50 or whatever it is. It's about value. It's what are you offering to your clients? So if you say, how can I get my clients to pay more? Well, what are you offering? Are you just saying, hey, I'm going to give you all the images on my session for $200 and I'm going to shoot all day and it's going to be a 4 to 5 hour session and I'm going to pre-edit everything and I'm never going to see my kids and my back is going to be to my husband all night because I'm editing all night and I'm going to be miserable, but you're going to get the best deal ever. And then you're upset because no one's paying you enough. This is a business. It's not a con game. It's a business. So whether you're out of your home or whether you're running a retail studio, there's a cost of doing business. So what is your cost of doing business and what are you offering for your work? It's like I have a session only fee, right? So a client may go, okay, what is a session only fee? Well, session only fee is time and talent of the photographer. Well, what do I get for that? You get me. You get me, you get my staff, you get the clothing, you get the studio that I'm sitting in, you get a clean, hopefully COVID-free environment. That's what you get. You get service, you get time, that's what you get. And so then I have a digital package where that includes time and service as well as product. Now, in any given day, yesterday I had 2 clients, one who bought digital where it included everything and one who just paid for my time and talent. And they're both just as happy. And the time and talent person said, I'm happy to pay Anna for her time. It was a great session. I'll come in for an ordering appointment and sit down and decide what I want to order because I don't want any preconceived package offered to me. I want to sit down and choose what I want. That's totally fine. And then you have the other client where it's like, oh, cool. I can spend $1,500 or $2,000 or whatever, and it's all included and I don't have to think about it again. And I get Anna's time and her staff. Cool, that works as well. You've got to put yourself in a client's perspective and think, really, truly sit down and think about what is it that you want to offer? What is it that you want to be known for? How can you create work that people will pay for and value? And what is your service? What is your offering? I do suggest getting mentoring with people that have been here, done that, because so many times when I'm mentoring, it's sometimes the photographer just needs to bounce something off of me. So I was at a mentoring session a couple of weeks ago, and one of her offerings was it had a time restriction and it was wrapped only. And I was like, why do you have that offering? I would never pay for that offering. And so the photographer was like, well, I saw someone else doing it. It's like people do it all the time, like a half-hour wrapped session where the baby's only wrapped and it's 30 minutes and they pay, I don't know, $300 to $400, let's say. So I'm an outside perspective. That's the good thing about mentoring is you get someone completely outside. I'm looking in like a customer. And I said, I don't know if I would pay that. Because then all the pictures is just the baby's wrapped and they're in a different wrap and a different wrapped, but there's nothing else. So what if I want baby naked, or what if I want baby over a bucket, or what if my baby's sleeping and they're doing so well and I'm limited to that half hour? Why are there so many restrictions? And the photographer didn't have a good reason that I can remember of why she offered that. I think she just saw it and thought it was a cool offering. It's not a bad thing on the photographer. She's just trying to do her due diligence and create an offering. I didn't see any value in that offering. And I know a lot of people that offer it and they'll say, Anna, I completely disagree with you. I offer half-hour wrapped minis for $300 or $400 and they sell like hotcakes and I sell a ton of them a month and I make $3,000 or $4,000. Then great. That if you have a happy clientele that loves that, perfect. McDonald's Happy Meal. There's a lot of people that love that Happy Meal and there's a lot of people that don't. So you need to come up with an offering that you've tested that people love and it's successful. Keep doing it. And if it's not, then maybe you need to look at it from a different perspective.
Okay, last one, I think.
Okay, last question.
What course would you recommend to a beginning newborn photographer? And I think I know what the answer might be.
Oh, you do? What's the answer, Alex?
I want to see what you say first.
Okay. I actually have a course, How to Be a Baby Photographer.
Oh.
Is that what you were going to say?
No, I was going to say lighting. Just general lighting.
Oh, well. But she said how to be a baby photographer.
Yeah, but beginner, so.
Yeah. Okay. So there's 2 options. So I teach online, bellybabyschool.com. I do have a course on baby lighting that I think is pretty good. It's a pretty new course. We only did it a couple months ago. And it's purely about baby lighting and the angles. But if you want like a good course on just being a baby photographer, I actually have a course on how to be a baby photographer. It's either how to be a baby photographer or being a baby photographer. And it's a very extensive course. I spent a lot of time writing this course. It's on bellybabyschool.com. And I think it's either how to be a baby photographer or being a baby photographer. Look it up. It's there. I cover everything. And it's a very good course. It's the course that took me the longest to write. In addition, the book I just released, Newborn Photography, Love and Light, The Practical Process, is a 232-page book. And whether you hear the audio or the PDF or buy the book, it has a lot of information in it. I feel like if you're becoming a baby photographer, you need a good overview. You need a good overview of the business, of posing, of safety. You need to know, I say this every time I'm live, you need to know your gear. You need to know your camera. My camera training was on flowers and beaches. That's how it started. And kids. Kids, flowers, and beaches. Well, first kids, then beaches, then flowers for macro photography. My lighting training was on portrait people. It wasn't on babies, it was on people and still life to understand what light does and the angles in the camera. Then you need knowledge of your subject. What do you need to know about babies? Well, their heads are heavier than the rest of their body. So posing is super important. Pose, always hold the bum first, head last. Don't let go of the head until last, till you have the body in position. There's so many different things from a weight perspective of the baby, when the best age to photograph a baby is, what the instructions to give to the mom before a session. There's so many different aspects of this. And I've said a million times that you're dealing with the youngest human beings in the world. In the world. You could be photographing the next president of the United States, you know, the next world leader. And so you have to understand that your job is a privilege, which means that all the knowledge that is required to do your job is important. If you're going to a dentist, if you're going to a surgeon, if you're going to somebody that's, I don't know, doing brow lifts, you expect that that person is perfecting the technique of their job, that that person is educating themselves, that that person is being safe, that that person has all the knowledge that they need to perform the job that they're performing. That's you as well. Whatever your job is, you need to do it 500%. You need to be knowledgeable, because no one can take your knowledge. No one can take your knowledge, and no one can take your talent. So if there's anything you need to be sure of, it's that you have a God-given talent and you have knowledge that will only increase the more you study. And that's why this is so great. You can spend the rest of your life perfecting your work and increasing your knowledge, and no one can take it away. So I'm Anna Brandt. Thank you so much for being part of our third Q&A. I hope that we will continue to do this throughout all of 2021, regardless of the things that happen. As you see, I'm a very real person. I deal with life and death just like everybody else. I deal with grief and tragic situations like everybody else. But I know that every single day when I put my feet on the floor, I'm trying to do the best job that I was born to do.